Good morning, it's Dave at ATI Watch Reviews. Please hit that like button and please smash that subscribe button for more awesome watch content. Little wristwatch check. Got my absolutely beautiful 38mm cream dial Addis Dive quartz Ronda, the AD 2063. Absolute beaut of a dial, GMT watch, only 38mm for the small wrist, but I can just about pull it off on my 7¼ inch wrist. But today's video is a watch that, well, I kind of wrote it off a couple of years ago, but the more I wear this thing, the more I actually really do like it. And to cut a long story short, this is a 44mm watch, but it is very, very comfortable. It's one of the comfiest 44mm bracelet stainless steel watches I've ever worn. This is a Juka watch. Juka are a Chinese homage watch brand, and they're actually a part of, I believe, Pagani Design, because when you type in Juka, Pagani's website come up and they seem to be a part of, they're like a sub-brand of Pagani. I think so. And they don't do that many Juka watches actually, they only do a handful. And this is kind of like one of their flagships, and it's actually a very cheap watch really. It can be had below 80 GBP. I think on AliExpress you can probably get it closer to 70. 68, 70 quid. This is the DK109. It's a 44mm by 14mm thick nominal. It's, as you're going to find out, it's actually about 13.5mm. And obviously it's got a domed crystal there, and it is a sapphire domed crystal. So, and that's protruding by at least 1.5 mm, so that takes up a lot of the thickness. Ceramic dive bezel. The yellow is indeed painted on though, but it is a ceramic bezel for the black. With the NH35A workhorse movement, with date complication, no cyclops, to keep it as clean as possible. The dial has a beautiful sunburst dark grey effect on it, as you can see there. They've done a really good job of that dial. A very subtle sunburst effect. It's not black, it is dark grey. They have put some AR coating on that sapphire domed crystal. It is a dust magnet, but the reflections are kept to a moderate amount. They're not overdone like some of the other Paganis that you see that are completely over the top on some of their double dome crystals. The case has a really nice curvature to it, as you can see there. Very slender lugs, which minimises the overall weight of the watch and obviously keeps the comfort and bulkiness down, as you can see there. With a stainless steel H-link bracelet, brushed body, polished outers, with just push pins, there is no arrows, coming down to a stainless steel dive clasp, safety catch and push buttons, pretty thick swing arms, and 3 micro adjusts. And it is signed, as is the crown, which is a wheel, if you can see it there, half of a wheel. And the case back has some laser engraved what look like hammerhead sharks to me, with the 109 10 bar. This is only a 100 meter water resistance watch. I'll let you decide if you can dive with that. I would generally say yes. If one of the bigger brands did a watch that was considered like my Marine Star, that has only 100 meter water resist, I would easily go diving with that thing. Even though technically it's not considered a dive watch, although that is disputed, really you want at least 200 meters to go diving. The other thing is, would you really trust the Chinese brands with their water resistance rating specs? Would you risk your life with it? And the answer is no, I wouldn't. But obviously your mileage may vary. But I'm just pointing it out. The main thing that attracted me to this watch was the contrast, the appearance, the contrast between the black and the yellow. I don't really have any kind of yellow and black watches other than some of my G-Shocks that are colourful. I'm a bit conservative. Then again, I do have a lot of two-tone watches, to be fair, but not black and yellow like this. That was what attracted me to it. And it is actually an homage. Do you know the brand and watch that it is homaging? It is, well, it's a dive watch and it is a luxury brand beginning with I. Put it down in the comments if you know what the watch and brand is that it's homaging. And as you're going to find out, I think it's done a pretty good job. And one thing that I've really noticed since wearing this watch a lot recently is that it is so comfortable. Even though it's got the 44mm spec by the 13.5mm, of which the domed crystal takes up at least 1.5 mm. So really it's only a 12mm watch. It makes it feel a lot smaller than 44mm. It feels more like probably a 42. Because of the case design, it is super, super comfortable. It's kind of like a utility diver. I love these types of watches, and they are made for utility, but also comfort. But let's get straight into it, and let's get into the sizing. The diameter is 43.9, so just under the nominal 44mm, which is good. That is the bezel diameter, but that is what a lot of watch brands use as the diameter of the watch. An overall diameter of 46.6, that's with the crown, so still not that big. A lug-to-lug of 50.9, so it is on the larger side, but it does have female end links, so the end link to end link is only 49.5. And a thickness to the top of the dome of 13.5, so just less than their stated specs. So the sizing is on the larger side, but it does have the female end links, which absolutely improve the comfort of this watch. And one thing I will show you later, and one thing I can confirm, is that the comfort of this watch is superb. It's one of the comfiest 44mm and up watches that I've ever worn on a bracelet. The case design, everything about it, and the bracelet in particular, and the head of the case really, is all geared towards comfort, utility and comfort. And it absolutely achieves that. It's a very comfortable, nice watch to wear. So for sizing, because of these factors, you can get away with 6.25, 6.5 inch wrist. I wouldn't pull it off probably if I had that size of wrist. I'd want something a bit smaller, but you absolutely can wear it even with a small wrist because of its overall design, which is very comfortable. And I've taken a link out and we're getting a very respectable 162 grams, which I think like 150 to 170 is like the sweet spot for like feeling of premium quality materials with the weight. It has a nice, heaviness on the wrist, but not too weighty, not too heavy where it's uncomfortable, which would be like 200 grams and above. So this is a very nice weight. Now the crystal is domed, which does produce some obvious negative consequences. And one of those consequences is that you do get more reflections. And that is true. However, it does have some anti-reflective coating, so it's by no means anywhere near as bad as, say, some of the Pagani homages with like big double domes and domed crystals. They are horrendous for reflections. This is not that bad. It's not bad. It does pick up dust a lot though, I have noticed just doing this video. It picks up dust an unbelievable amount. But in terms of the reflections and out, it is very legible when you're out. So they're not that bad. And it is a sapphire. You can see there it does have a slight dome of at least 1 millimeter. But they're saying it is a sapphire. Let's check that out. So it is a sapphire crystal indeed. Obviously with a sapphire, you're getting way superior scratch resistance, but probably worse shatter resistance with it being the sapphire. The dial is simple but effective. A nice sunburst, a very subtle sunburst of dark greys proceeds all over the dial. I think it's very subtle, and it does highlight the yellow and white indices and hands very nicely. The Duca branding is appropriate. You just obviously got the capitalized Duca there. There's nothing over the top. With an automatic 10 bar 100 meter. So they have kept things to a minimum. There is a chapter ring at the back there. The alignment seems to be pretty good. Not much negative to write home about in general on this presentation. The presentation was that the yellow and black did make it look very attractive to me. Because I don't have any other yellow and black watches really, other than like some colourful G-Shocks. And I like it, the fact it doesn't have a Cyclops. It is a cleaner presentation, although it is pretty difficult to see that date window in total honesty. It's not super legible. The chapter ring is actually raised from the dial, if you can see that there. The bezel is actually pretty difficult to grip, and it isn't a super smooth motion in total honesty. But it is ceramic, so it's completely scratch resistant, but the yellow is kind of painted onto it, so that will potentially scratch off, but the black will not, because the black's like part of the ceramic. But it absolutely does look striking. The crown is signed with a nice wheel, half wheel. It is the NH35A movement. Smooth. The case design is minimal. It is not one of these big fat supporting cases. The lugs are highly curved, as you can see there, which all massively aids in the comfort. And it also reduces the weight. So, as you can see, they're not too sharp, but I would have thought a little bit more rounding off would have been appreciated, but you don't feel it on the wrist. It is super comfortable. I really like this kind of utility diver. The case design is super comfortable, as you're going to see on my wrist shortly. Now the case back, they've gone with a simple stainless steel one. 10 bar 109 stainless steel waterproof with some interesting shark, or is that a hammerhead shark possibly, laser engraved on there. Would have liked an exhibition window, absolutely, but they've not gone with that here, just gone with a simple stainless steel one. Moving on to the bracelet, which is good, and it is a H-link, it's not your standard 3-link. The brushing is okay, it's fairly coarse, so you can see the lines. And it's not completely perfect, as you just saw there. But the clasp is adequate. It would have been nice to have seen a fully milled one, but it's not. The swing arms are good. The case is a bit tinny. But the mechanism, no issues really. It doesn't have any dive extension capability because it is on the budget side, so they've obviously omitted that kind of feature. That would have been nice to have really with 200 meter water resist. And I think it would have been nice, even possibly, to have had a polished inner, although that would have been controversial because a lot of people hate that. I think the brushing could be improved on this thing. It is just a pin system to connect the links, but there is no arrows telling you which way to remove the pins, which is another bit of a letdown. So the bracelet is a mixed bag, but by all means, it's not that bad. It's still, in one of the main departments, very good because it is very, very comfortable. Let's get it on the wrist. And that's it. On the wrist. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think? Nice sheen there on the clasp, on the stainless. Are you digging that black and yellow? I definitely am. As a fun weekend or holiday watch, I think that works very nice. With that subtle grey tinge to the dial. It's all working pretty well together. And one of the main factors as to why you would wear this watch is going to be the comfort. Because it is so comfortable. Because it doesn't feel like you're wearing a big 44mm watch. It feels more like a 42 really. The movement is only going to be accurate to about 20 seconds, give or take a day. So don't buy this watch if accuracy is going to be an issue. But that's what you get on these cheaper automatics. Sadly, it will be the day when 2 seconds a day accuracy comes down the technology on price so they can put it in these cheaper automatics. But definitely do get it if you want comfort, because it absolutely is comfort. Now let's check the lume. And that's with a small amount of background light permitted. So as you can see, it's not bad. It is inconsistently applied to the indices though that look a little bit patchy. But they have indeed, in a beautiful blue, lumed the bezel, which I didn't realise. But it's not bad and it's better than average. It doesn't stay on for too long though. It's losing that lume pretty quickly. So overall, where do I rate this thing? Well, given the fact it can be had for below 70 quid, it's probably a 7. The main positives are its striking appearance. The sunburst was surprising to me because I thought when I saw it, it was just going to be a black dial. But the sunburst is very nice. It's subtle. It's not over the top. Everything is appropriate. The Duca branding is good. The materials are generally okay. You've got some ceramic on the bezel, a nice sapphire domed crystal. The negatives are the bezel has a strange grittiness. The bracelet is okay. The brushing is far from anything to write home about. And the mechanism on the clasp isn't perfect. But the comfort of this watch is so good. And it does have an interesting black and yellow appearance that I think they've captured the original luxury eye watch pretty well and give you a taste of that for a fraction of the cost. There is an affiliate link down below. I make a tiny bit of commission at no extra cost to you. I think overall, bearing that in mind, I think with its value being good, it's a 7 out of 10. It's not bad at all. And it's a strangely, I've been wearing it more because it's so comfortable, and I forgot how comfortable it was. So, hope you've liked this little review. It's been Dave. Cheers.